Welcome back to another installment of Games I've Been Playing Volume 2 for March. Yeah, this one's gonna be only March. I said initially I planned to do these every 2 months, but March was a big month and I played a lot of games. I have a lot to talk about, so we're back and I'm here to give you another rundown of games I've completed with a few thoughts on games I checked out over the past month. Without further ado, let's get into it and talk about some games because we got a lot to get through this month. So the demo for Outriders has released, or did release, and I really enjoyed my time with it. While the story is what it is, and it's not really what I'm here for, honestly, I'm honestly here to just shoot stuff and use the crazy and amazing powers that you get. The small amount of gunplay and abilities that you get to use were really fun to use, even with the short amount of time you had with it, and for the first few level ups that you have. I'm interested to see what they do, and now that it's released, I'm excited to get to it eventually. I'm definitely backed up with a bunch of games on my backlog, so I'll be checking it out when I get time to it. But right now, I'm definitely excited, and I was definitely happy with what I played. With the announcement of Resident Evil Village and playing through that maiden demo that was fire, I decided that it might be a good idea to go back and play the installment it's inspired by. And man, was it rough. I'd already started a playthrough about a year ago, right after playing through the RE2 remake and RE3 remake, and got pretty deep in. But I walked away from it because I kinda had my fill with the title, and honestly, I liked it at the time. However, this time starting fresh, it just didn't click with me this time for some reason. It felt poorly aged, and the controls were so stiff. I know it's an RE game, and after replaying both RE2 and 3 in October, this just doesn't feel good, unfortunately. Those two games really spoiled me in what RE is supposed to be, and for the most part, I'm good. I'm good right now. But I'm really excited for whatever Village is going to be, and I can't wait for whatever demo they're going to release next in the coming few weeks. I don't really know why, but this game just never seems to click with me. This is the second time trying to get into this game, and I just don't enjoy it as much as other PlayStation titles. Don't get me wrong, PlayStation puts out some bangers all the time, and it sucks because I do see that there's some great stuff here. Visuals are incredible and the gameplay is fine for the most part. Yeah, I know it sounded like I was gonna get through a whole list of cool stuff in this game, but for me, it's fine. It's minor things for me that really get in the way for me, like spongy enemies that take a lot of weaponry to take it down, and the shortage of ammo you constantly have, and having to constantly craft more ammo just becomes kind of tedious for me. I thought that lowering the difficulty would help this issue, however it didn't, unfortunately. It sucks because this game was something I really wanted to like, but I just can't. I booted up once again. This was written about a month ago when I first started it, but I started it up again since then, and hopefully it will be different this time around. But yeah, honestly, I don't know. I'm really excited for whatever Forbidden West is gonna be, and hopefully I'll like it until then. I hope. Yeah. Just like Horizon, this game was a game that I really wanted to like, but I just can't. Too much of it felt just so inconvenient or just like straight up chores. Powers feel great and the gunplay is incredible, but the story was fine and really hooked me in. However, everything else just kind of just felt annoying or tedious things like how you can't reload your weapon. I know, it's stupid, but it's just a little pet peeve of mine. Powers being janky sometimes, especially the levitate during boss battles. Enemies doing an obscene amount of damage, and health only being able to be dropped by enemies. Yeah, these are things that are in other games, but it just doesn't work here. Something just doesn't fit right in this game. It's like that puzzle piece that just barely doesn't fit and just doesn't feel good. On top of that, there's a terrible map, and pathfinding and quests just feel like chores sometimes. Just giving you lists of stuff to do. All of this just did not feel fun, and I really want to revisit it eventually, but for right now, it just did not feel fun.
If it's not fun, why bother?
It's fine. You're gonna see a pretty consistent thread here, but in terms of this game, classic platformers like these have never really interested me, but whenever saying the praises of this game, I just had to check it out. And however, overall I felt pretty alright, meh, about it. It's fun sometimes, but annoying at most. But I guess that's just the style of gameplay it brings with it. It's not like I hate these type of games. I loved The Messenger and Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, but this one, it just couldn't stick. Maybe I'll come back to it one day and try that again, but for right now, it's just shelved. So yeah, as you can see, I've been lately kind of discovering this thing about games I play, and that I don't necessarily need to be into every game. I know, it sounds silly, but for the longest time now, I've struggled with forcing myself to play some games, and most of the time, I don't even like them. This episode has made it pretty evident, and I've been accepting the fact that not every game is for me, and it honestly makes enjoying games so much better. I had this realization while playing this game for the first few hours, and yeah, it's not for me. That's really all I could say. The movement is fun while funky at times, however the combat is not fun at all. And to be quite honest, I was not interested in the story at all. It has an incredibly interesting art style, and it's cool. It's a really novel title, to be quite honest, but yeah. PSA, if there's a game that like you really want to get into but don't really like playing, just watch a playthrough. I just did that recently with Metal Gear Solid 2. That's a game I played years ago, but now I just don't feel like I want to play. But yeah, if there's a game that you really like and you really want to see the story and experience the story, or whatever, just watch a playthrough. You don't need to play through the whole thing. You got things to do, and there's only so much media and content to consume out there, so enjoy stuff how you will. So yeah, all of these are kind of bundled together because of the PS2 emulation on PS5 is not it. Manhunt and the Warriors specifically had glitched out visuals and UI elements that would really mess up the experience. I quit Manhunt quickly because despite the visual issues that weren't too bad, the stealth and combat quote-unquote were pretty dated and clunky. The Warriors was the complete opposite. The combat felt really good, but the messed up visuals really hindered the experience and were super distracting, but I really honestly wanted to get into the game because it played good. It was very fun, and I mean, it's the Warriors, man. Come on. Red Dead Revolver was working fine, however, with no issues, but I played about half of it and I had my fill with it. The shooting has aged pretty well, all things considered, but I had my fill after the first few levels. It's a bit repetitive, but it's also short, so it makes kind of sense. It's a neat game for its time, and it's interesting to see the roots of the Red Dead series. So this game was a pretty good surprise. I've never really been into the whole mechs and Gundam genre, but for a PS2 game, this has aged surprisingly well. Combat felt fluid and fast, and for those first couple of hours, I was really enjoying myself. The story, however, ain't it. Yeah, voice acting is not great and is presenting these very bad CGI cutscenes. Combat is fun, but eventually gets stale because of the lack of different moves and enemies, but I do see the potential in this game, which makes me really excited to check out the sequels remastered called Zone of the Enders, The Second Runner, Mars? Okay, I'm mainly excited to check out this game because I feel like this game, it was made to just be made and use the Metal Gear Solid 2 engine, and I feel like the sequel is kind of all of the things I liked about this one, but better and fixed and really good. So yeah, overall it's a pretty good game for its age. It just gets kind of stale and repetitive after about 2 hours. Yeah, I bet you weren't expecting to see this, huh? Most of y'all probably never even heard of this game, but that's fine. But I remember picking this game up at a rental video store and having a blast. Nowadays, however, it's definitely the weakest in terms of all of the 007 games. However, it's still a lot of fun. The dual wielding mechanic keeps you moving and improvising on the fly, which I really liked. And the GoldenEye abilities are strange and didn't really add much, but it's still a novel idea. It's still a fun game to play and experience with this ridiculous story where James Bond dies and you have a golden eye with Deus Ex type powers. Probably one that most people never even heard of. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. So do y'all remember this? Cause I barely did. I picked this up on a sale with no expectations at all. I just wanted to go in and see what's up, and It wasn't much. I was surprised with the combat and how the game was structured, having you jump from planet to planet and pretty much all planets being completely explorable, more or less. There's not much to do in terms of exploring. Gliding around is fun for only a few minutes until you do a traversal puzzle but you realize you could just fly to where you need to go to. Yeah. Combat is kind of satisfying for a space shooting game, but having to constantly switch out weapons to exploit weaknesses and elemental synergies and stuff like that, it's interesting, but it does get annoying quick. I really hope that they revisit this game and do a sort of hotkey system or weapon switching system where there's 3 elements on each hand and you can switch out those 3 elements whenever you can, and not just pause the menu, switch out from the 15 types of weapons that you have and do that. It's kind of annoying having to pause constantly, not just for combat, but for exploration and puzzles. It gets really annoying quick. It's hard to recommend this game because there's always an annoyance that gets in the way of the fun here. There's good ideas and hints of design greatness. However, it kind of feels half-assed at times and not fun, sadly. And like I said before, if it's not fun,
why bother?
Alright, now let's get into the games I've been really playing. And I have, along with some games, I've been putting some real hours in. So let's get into that. This is a good one. Say what you want about this game being a Breath of the Wild clone, because honestly, I want more of Breath of the Wild, and Ubisoft has done such an incredible job of not only making their own unique game, almost, but improving upon most of the things Breath of the Wild did. The combat is incredible, exploration and puzzles are motivating and fun, and the story is low-key kinda good and pretty funny and witty. Not only that, but the constant feeling of progression in this game feels rewarding. Almost anything you do and find will be working towards your character's progression, whether it's health, stamina, potions, weapons, and abilities. This game has such a fun loop of fighting, exploring, puzzling, and upgrading that there's never a moment where you feel like your time is being wasted. This is a definite hidden gem of the last year, and I highly recommend you check it out. Oh, this is a good one too. Starting off with Bowser's Fury, this was an interesting little experiment, I guess you can call it, that Nintendo packed in with the port of 3D World. It has a ton of interesting and cool ideas, like having this huge open world, quote unquote, and with interconnecting levels, an inventory of power-ups that you can swap between in on the fly, and a slightly inconvenient boss encounter, quote unquote. Yeah, I'm using a lot of quotes. Yeah, the whole Bowser thing is interesting, however, there are many instances where he'd show up at the wrong time or the most inconvenient times, or having to wait several minutes at a time for him to come out and breathe fire on some rocks that I really need him to do. It's a fun adventure, and I really hope they make a full game out of this small project or experiment that they did, with hopefully the movement system from Odyssey, or even maybe incorporate this with the design of a new Galaxy game. Please. 3D World is great as well. It's a fun and simple game that's not bad at all and really deserves more love than it does most of the time. This being the 3rd time me playing through this game. Yeah, you heard that right, 3rd time. I'm still enjoying every minute of it until we get into those bonus worlds, because goddamn, they're so fun. Man, what a game, dude. Like I said in the previous video, I've been really getting into the Souls games, and ever since beating Demon Souls, I've been itching to play the rest. I dabbled slightly with Dark Souls, but realized I still had a save file from last year playing Dark Souls 3, but decided, you know what, I'm gonna go back and finish what I had started. And I freaking love this game, dude. For a whole week, this was all I played. I binged through the whole second half of the game that I played through, and all the DLCs as well. And I honestly do not regret wasting all that time in just consuming this game. I've never been so consumed and glued onto the screen for a game like this. The world is incredible, the combat is brutal but satisfying, the soundtrack is impeccable, and this honestly might reach one of my top 10 games of all time. And like I said before, I also played through both of the DLCs, and while Ashes of Arendelle was pretty good and alright, but I felt a little too short and kind of anticlimactic. I think it was because of the way I played it. I went the wrong route and I kind of skipped half of it, and I was like, oh, I'm at the end already. Okay, the Ring City, however, tested everything I had learned up to that point, and that final battle with Gale, This is one of the best I've ever experienced. It was so good, it was so much fun, it was so satisfying to finally jump over that hurdle and finish that final fight. I'm currently taking a break with this series since it's going to be a bit jarring to go back from Dark Souls 3 to Dark Souls 1 and 2. So, and I'm also patiently waiting for a 60 FPS boost for Bloodborne. But until then, I fucking love this game, and I honestly, for the past week, unscripted here, for the past week I've been thinking like, you know what, fucking, I'm just gonna go to Dark Souls right now, because I really am looking for something of a challenge right now, and I just really miss that world and that just sense of exploration and triumph after every fight. But yeah, check, y'all know, these games are incredible, y'all know, I should play these sooner, but y'all already know. So I may have found my games as a service game. Just kidding. However, it was nice to finally find a game for me to just chill after a long day. Listen to some music or a podcast and explore this Washington DC area and shoot bad guys. I played the first game after getting it at a garage sale, and I was like, yeah, it's fine. So expectations for the sequel weren't anywhere, honestly. I checked it out once quarantine started. Yeah, bad timing, I know. But after that, I kind of had my fill. I went through the first couple of areas and I was like, yeah, it's fine. But this time, starting fresh with a brand new 60 FPS update, something just clicked, and I really enjoyed my time with it. The game isn't something crazy or innovative, and I could hardly tell you what the story was about. But I can say that it's a great game to just cozy up in and just chill. Warlords of New York was a fun expansion to the base game, and it's what DLCs should be, honestly. Expansions, not just add-ons. And I really want more of this. Real talk, Ubisoft does DLCs pretty good. For the most part, they've been consistent with dropping really good DLCs. With this, the Assassin's Creed DLCs, the brand new Immortals Chinese Mythology DLC that they just dropped, and a whole bunch more. They're really good DLCs, and this is really good. It's a cool concept of having to learn about the targets that you're hunting, and the story actually getting pretty interesting. And I was like, fuck, I should have been paying attention, because it ends up with a cool finale. I highly recommend the game and its expansion if you're looking for a game to just unwind and chill. So this game right here is fire. Some of you might not know this, but racing games are one of my favorite genres of all time, alongside open world RPGs, shooters, and roguelikes, and platformers. Yeah, I like a lot of games. Ever since I was a kid, I loved racing games, especially arcade racing games like Burnout, Hot Wheels, and Mario Kart. And this game really got me back into that racing game kick. This game is insane. Races are so incredibly spectacular with intense set pieces and a sense of speed that I haven't felt in a while. This is the first MotorStorm game I've played, and now I kind of want to check out all the rest, because while they aren't about racing during these crazy set pieces, the boost mechanic, while simple, adds a pretty fun twist to these intense races, trying not to overheat and finding routes with water that cool down your boost. The career mode is also pretty cool how they structured it, around these 3 different characters, racing during different times of the day, and while yes, you are racing in the same locations, the layout is always different, because how the changes in destruction that happen from one day or another race. It's a really hype-ass game that I highly recommend. It's so much fun. This is neat. Yeah, not much to say. It's a fun, short experience that I honestly did in the afternoon. It'll take you a couple hours. But yeah, honestly, it's a dumb game that doesn't really do anything crazy. It's just weird and dumb about killing spiders in the craziest way possible. It's fine and worth its low price points, but there's not much more to say. It's just fun spider killing. Again, another dumb fun game here. This is basically if Doom was a 2D side-scroller, and it's really violent and fun and visually impressive. It reminds me a lot of Carrion, but instead of being the monster, you are the monster slayer with shotguns, ARs, and eventually a goddamn railgun. It's good dumb fun for a few bucks, and you can finish it in a couple hours. Like I said before, I have been in a racing game kick, and this was such a good follow-up from MotorStorm. I really enjoyed this game a few years ago and thought it was one of the best Need for Speed games in the entire franchise. Picking up the remaster, something just kind of fell off for some reason and didn't stick to me. Thankfully, after picking it up again, it's a really fun game. Something about its simplicity and purity and how racing in this game feels makes for such an incredible and great experience racing with crazy super and hypercars. Whether it's the incredible and simple races that are just head to head, just you, cars, raw dogging it on the pavement, or the crazy, heart-pumping, intense pursuits from dozens of cops and Lambos and helicopters and spike strips and EMPs. This game is just so much fun, dude. It's simple, it's clean, it's good, it's fire. There's no upgrades, no customization, but it's just pure fun. It's pure racing at its purest form with cool stuff. It's a very intense and violent Mario Kart, I guess. Definitely check it out. It's so much fun. So this is an interesting one. I wasn't really going to put it in here, but I did play through it this month, so yeah. Initially, I played this game first when it released, and I really enjoyed my time with it. And wanted to keep on playing and was excited for the more heroes that they were going to add, but I stopped because I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait for the PS5 upgrades. Yeah, that was a long wait, and even my save data wasn't properly saved, so I had to start over, more or less, kind of halfway, sort of. Thankfully, the campaign isn't too long, but still, it's fun, for me, at least. It sucks to see how much content they have been delaying and how little updates there have been since launch. So I'm really hoping that this game doesn't die because there's some potential here. And I really want this game to thrive because I do see this being my personal games as a service game. God, I'm really hoping this game's good because Black Panther looks fire. So yeah, there's a great debate about how this game is aged, and some of y'all might not like what I have to say. It's not aged too well. Picking it up from the 3D All-Stars collection, I was excited to jump in and try to 100% all 3 games, but this was a fucking rough one. I couldn't do it. I decided that I loved myself way too much to do that, and I did get like halfway, getting all of the stars from all of the worlds over the past couple of months. But I just got to a point where I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna beat the game. This is the first time I actually officially beat the game, and I was proud of it because I finally did it. I've played this game several times over the past 20 years, but yeah, I just never got around to beating it because I never owned an N64 and I barely played it a little bit on my Wii U. There's fun to be had, no question. Yes, the movement and camera are impressive for its time. However, now it just doesn't feel great, and it blows my mind how speedrunners still play this game. It's crazy how they've mastered these controls because I just can't. It don't feel right to me. I respect it without question because yes, this is a game that has changed the industry in more ways than one. However, I just couldn't do it all. In most played sessions, I'd walk away with hate rather than joy, and that's just no fun. And like I said before, I'm just kidding. We're gonna keep going. Lastly but not least, oh hell yeah, we are here. That has to be one of the best games in the series without question. I've played countless hours of Brotherhood when I was younger, and to this day it holds up. Yes, it has janky parkour and mediocre mission structure, but you cannot deny how this might quite possibly be considered a perfect sequel among the greats. Adding chain kills, the parachute, a one big open world rather than multiple, the Brotherhood system, the renovation system, more side content, a better villain, and so much more. This game was incredible in so many ways. There's some bias here, of course, but at its core, it's still a great game with so much fun to be had, fixing so many of the issues that I had from Assassin's Creed 2, and improving on ideas that were previously set. And I cannot recommend this game enough if y'all haven't tried this out. Y'all have to play through at least the S2 trilogy to witness some of the greatest and most pure form of open world games. And that's about it. Let me know what you guys thought, or what you might want me to check out next. Yeah, this month was big. There was a lot of games. I'm already looking at the recording. We're 29 minutes in, aside from mistakes. So yeah, next month I'll only be doing April and May. I'm gonna try to play more games that I'm actually gonna finish, and long form games. Right now I'm in the middle of Yakuza and replaying a couple. I've been replaying a lot of games lately. I think it's because I'm growing old. I'm replaying a lot of games, but yeah, let me know what you guys think, what you guys been playing, what you guys want me to check out. I'll be definitely checking out Outriders, like I said before. And I think Returnal comes out this month. That's gonna be pretty fire. I'll probably check that out too. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys want me to play. Let me know what you guys been playing. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe out there and love each other always. Thank you again for watching. See you guys next time.